Amy Garland, founder and acting CMO for Appalachian Girls.
My name's Joey Ellwood. I'm co-founder and acting head of sales for Appalachian Girls Cannabis.
I'm Joshua David Crosier, and I am co-founder.
So let's start with who was the spearhead of it, and I want to go right back because there's three of you guys, so I'm going to handle this a little differently. Is kind of raise your hand real quick as far as who started the idea, and then who brought everybody kind of into it, or was it all you guys sitting on the couch together?
Joey, you want to go? Or
so I would say that Josh had the vision and the idea, and he acted. He and I are longtime friends. All of us have connections and go back to Ohio University, and he and I had worked together in college there. Smoked some of the finest cannabis I've ever had from Josh, longtime legacy cultivator. So, but we have ties to our hometown. And so after graduation, we went on our ways, and Josh came back to me after he saw me online being probably passionate about a farm direct pastured poultry business that partner of mine he and I had started, and Josh was like, listen, I have an idea. Like, come, let me talk to you about this, because I was farming. I have a corporate job and career, but I was passionate about, our products and cannabis. And he said, hemp's legal to grow. Let's take a gander at this. You could get slaughtered too. This is a wild scene, but let's just talk about it. So we did that. And I got my wife on board. She's an RN who had always dreamed of being part of the holistic wellness side too. So we went through that iteration with CBD and have that family household brand. But Josh and I, the second summer, with his tutelage and our other co-founder, Matt Osler, who also has some of the most world-class cannabis I've ever come across, and I'm a snob. They helped me cultivate and harvest 50 pounds of outdoor for smokable flower on the low THC, high CBD side. And we stormed the market, self-distribution, drove the wheels off of our cars, and really had 50, 70 stores that were loving it. And I guess, sorry guys, I'm taking a lot of this, but I think it's important to lay the groundwork. Lance Melnichenko came in, our acting CEO, longtime friend, and Bobcat, wrestled with him in high school. He was like, this is a murder scene. You should run. Like, don't do this. And then he came and watched on scene because he has some significant corporate experience in the cannabis world. And he watched us operate for a little bit. And he's like, I got an idea. Let's talk through it. And it kind of marinated for a little bit. And then he started to pitch the idea of Appalachian Girls. And I think he even had, we ideated on the brand side, but then he started helping us assemble the team. And then, there's 5 of us now, and I'll shut up from there because that's
that was great. That was great. And I'll connect with you as well. Former wrestler over here. So I have another show called The Leaders Arena, which I co-host with a former UFC fighter, Clifford Starks.
Lance and I joke because I was a heavyweight in college, and he was like 125 in high school. And we get in these meeting rooms, and I'm like, yeah, Lance and I wrestled in high school, same weight class. And they're like, what?
That's awesome, guys. Well, give a little cloud level overview as far as the portfolio and the different products that you guys make.
Can I say something about the team real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
This team is phenomenal, by the way. And Joey did a great job of describing it. Like, we were all in cannabis, little hodgepodge entrepreneurs. But this company never was really App Girls or a company without, that Lance and Amy addition to this, like, made us whole and complete. We were just farmers, right? So, we're proud of like how things came together as Bobcats. And, yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, there's no sorries at all, guys. This is an open conversation, and I edit things out intermittently. So when it goes out, nobody ever notices these types of things. That's part of the point about the authenticity of the conversation. And I'll let you know too, Josh. I just yesterday interviewed Steve Groff, who is one of the leaders in regenerative agriculture. And he's also a hemp farmer, and they do tomatoes for Whole Foods and stuff like that. And we did a whole hour together about regenerative farming, and actually to the point where his products have been given to Penn State Medical Center, and they tested his products for the potency versus the same other products in Pennsylvania. And they found that the regenerative agriculture gives a higher quality nutrition content to the cannabis. So we had a really cool conversation that probably the episode will drop before or after you guys. So feel free to nerd out as much as you want on the agriculture and farming side. It's something that I'm definitely giving a platform for farmers moving forward over the next few weeks and months.
Josh is like, yes,
You
like,
don't
I'm
wanna
here
hold-
for it.
We might need a couple more hours.
Actually, Josh, what I'll do is, here's what I'll commit to you. I promised this to Steve yesterday, was to do a roundtable with somebody in a brand in the industry and him and myself. I think that we'll hold the agricultural conversation for that conversation. And then, but let me follow up with you, and we'll get together a date on that, because that would be fun. Cool, man. Cool. All right, cool. So give me kind of a cloud level overview on the portfolio and the brands, and then I'm going to dive deeper back into your guys' stories together.
Yeah, I can go into the product. So we started out like 3 years ago selling the smokable hemp flower, low THC, high CBD. And like we had some traction, and then we decided that after we did a family and friends raise, because we were like, we have something here between the team, and we think that we could go some places. And so we did the family and friends raise. I think we're gonna hit just shy of 1 million this year.
Nice.
Like in the 12-month span since we started our drinks, which was really our hero product that just kind of came out of nowhere. One of our investors, early investors during the family and friends raise, has a canning business, and we're like, Joey's like, what do we think about drinks? Like, should we do it? And we're like, no, it's not really like what we had in our master plan, but it's just normal cannabis business where you have to continually pivot and adjust based on the market. And we tried the drinks, and we came up with we had 3 flavors to start with, and they all tie back to our Appalachian roots. So like we're all from that region. And so we're like, okay, let's do like a strawberry lemonade that's like a porch style, like something great for in the summertime. And let's do like a half and half, like an Arnold Palmer. And then the black cherry soda, we fell in love with it, and it ended up being our hero SKU. And then we went round and round about our citrus soda. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. And everyone's like, no, it's coming from like moonshine. Like it really ties back. And that also, like, we have something for everyone. And we all have like our favorite drink out of all of our SKUs that we really love.
We
And that's sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
No.
So when I saw your guys' portfolio, when I pulled up the screen, it was instantly, I could tell where I didn't, in the moment, I sometimes forget where the geographical locations are of people, but I saw your portfolio, and I'm originally we have a property outside of Pittsburgh, a farm property from a generational piece. And then I lived in West Virginia for a long time. So your portfolio definitely resonated to me. And I wanted to say that not many people are coming in with the seltzer, the soda, and the tea. And I just want to first off just say home run on that. I'm going to send you guys my address for some samples and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like really like to have that diversity and have a portfolio, because a lot of people are like, here's our portfolio of brands, but it's 15 different seltzers with different flavors. That's not a portfolio. That's just flavor extensions off of a core product. And you guys build a portfolio. So I do want to say good job on that. Like, seriously.
Selfishly want to add that our black cherry just took double gold out of 16 different independent submissions in Ohio. So when she says that's our favorite, it's a fan favorite too. It's really going well as it relates to the actual taste of the drink. We have an awesome brand, and we're true to form, but the product too is awesome.
That's really cool. Did you guys phase in these, or was this your initial rollout when you guys rolled out a year ago?
Our initial rollout, we started with the 3 flavors, the half and half, the black cherry, and the strawberry lemonade seltzer. We were trying to keep it tight. Lance and I both come from CPG world, and when you over skew yourself and you don't focus on just something small, you end up losing sight of what you're actually trying to do. So after, I think it was last July, actually, we went round and round, and everyone was asking for more flavors. That was the feedback from the stores that Joey and Josh were getting. And we're like, okay, well, to make like a nice sample pack, it would make sense to add one more SKU to our lineup. But it has to have a different flavor profile. And and offer something different to our customers.
So you
So
guys,
that's where that citrus soda came in.
yeah, absolutely. So you guys are over in Ohio. Are you guys currently in the same building right now? Like, or are you guys all spread out remotely?
We rarely get to see
Yeah.
each other. It's not great, you know, like this team's awesome. I get to see Joey and Matt, you know, off and on, but even Matt is right here in Athens with me. He works in this building, but we're on two different paths, but I get to see him more. We wish we worked and lived closer, but unfortunately we're spread out a little bit, all kind of Columbus on east side of the state.
I asked that because a lot of founders, you know, I grew up with Inc. magazine, Entrepreneur magazine. I'm 40 years old, so I'm not sure how old you guys are. But it's one of those glorifying things where they tell us, you know, you get to do whatever you want and this and that, but they don't tell you the lonely part of being a founder. Even when you have 5 other partners, you're still alone.
100%.
Yeah.
And like Josh is our only full-time employee. So the rest of us have day jobs too. So it's a grind, you know.
What were you guys, so you guys said about the kind of in the cannabis entrepreneurship realm, like you guys, a couple of you guys are balancing the hybrid approach of being founders of a business that's running and accelerating, growing while also maintaining the foundation of the paycheck part. So that's a whole nother realm of that people don't realize that when you're walking that tightrope and you got your foot in both doors, you know, obviously you might see the permanent job is forever because it's the stability, but there may be a point when the business outgrows you and you have to make that decision. What do you guys, is that a scary thought for you guys if that ever were to happen, where like all of a sudden you guys top like 5-10 million a year and it's not possible to have your day job and the cash flow is enough to where the jump has to be made? Is that a scary thing or is that just super exciting?
I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we all want to be app girls full time.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So when you guys were sitting around and starting this, what was the year that you guys started with just the flower pre-beverages and stuff?
Was it 2022?
2022, yeah.
Okay, wow, nice. And so were you guys, Josh, were you guys processing everything on site, or and is there a location people can drive to, or is everything DTC kind of e-commerce right now and without the retail with beverages and stuff?
Well, Nate, I'm glad that you asked. Right now we got 4 living soil beds, 4 by 25 foot long, that me and Matt custom mix the soil for. Awesome, with a ton of potential. But as Joey mentioned earlier, we want to use these beds full time. However, it doesn't sell like the beverages. So like time's got to be allocated to where it's most profitable. However, I run the Hocking College Cannabis program here in town, which is in Nelsonville. So we use it. I use it for my indoor crop science 2 class. So it isn't just sitting feral, you know, it's a great place. We do intend to grow there as needed again, but it just isn't the focus. But we've been able to use it for some great things educational wise. This is where I find out which students can be interns for App Girls. And then once they're interns, that's when we find out who's really hustling, right? So we got a kid, one of our sales crew, Matt Galeka, he come up through my Hocking program, and now he's just an excellent superstar for us. So, you know, we're trying to build those type of relationships fundamentally. So I don't look at it as wasted space, but we're in the beverage game now. So like doing the CBD pre-rolls due to Ohio's legislation, you know, like it doesn't make sense to prioritize that. We're focused on getting these beverages out and building a brand through that avenue. But it ain't to say we won't be back to, you know, fresh and more sticky CBD.
That our thesis as a company was to be in the med rec space. We have custom formulated gummies with top tier chefs ready to go. That scene in Ohio has been semi-turbulent to say the least as it relates to compliance and partnership. So we're actively down the road with conversations. Same with the beverages on the med rec side. We're in conversation with a processor as a mobile canning setup whereby he can bolt on to a med rec facilitator. So to Josh's point, it's a matter of time, but hemp was set up purposefully so that we could cross state lines with advertising and build our brand. We have Appalachian in our brand name for a reason. Those are our priority states. And so yeah, beverages is just the cash cow that we have found is absolutely probably, and THCA flower, like that, no knock against it, but it seemed very like we're operators, and Josh and these guys will have their day in the sun when it comes to med rec and getting in the flower space there. So we're patient.
Yeah, we're pretty active. And Josh, I want to commend you on the education part of things. So I'll give you guys a little connection there. I got into the alcohol business because of my co-op when I was in college at Drexel University. So the only reason I'm in this business, the only reason that 17 years later I have this business, which then turned into my senior year of college, me starting the business that exists right now. So I've been a solopreneur for the last 17 years. And one of the things is it's that co-op program that I ended up staying into. And a lot of kids ended up, doing it. They did 3 co-ops in the 5 years at Drexel, and a lot of them would do a different company each time. But the company I worked for was a big distributor called Origlio Beverage in Philadelphia. And we really connected and everything like that. And every time I had a co-op, they put me in a different department in the company. And then that ended up building me into just understanding all aspects of the business, and then gave me a really great foundation for the rest of the time. So keep doing what you're doing. And not only would they be, obviously great employees for you, they're going to live on and build a great foundation at an early age, which is crucial. So good job on you guys for doing that and looking at that as a priority for sure.
Thank you. That means a lot. It is a priority.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, I looked at your heat map on here. I see you guys have a little bit over in Pennsylvania as well. So knocking on the back door over here. Do you guys have distribution out there, or are you guys just shipping the stuff over there like some of the other guys are right now?
So we have scattered warehouses throughout Ohio. We have small distribution in East Central Ohio with a smaller distributor, Adco, and they've been really good to us. But we've been self-distributing, as Josh made mention. His efforts I tell him all the time, it's tough because it's an investment of his time. He's very passionate. But Matt Galeka, as well as a few others that are coming up, they're selling for us, and they're breathing fire, excited about what they see, because and that's all done largely by either telesales or in person. We have a CRM that we're working through, and we continue to add people like us every day to that want to join. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I see you guys have some stuff over in Philly and some spots in Pittsburgh and stuff like that. So I'll let you know too. I'm sure Joey, when you hear in those episodes that we have this bill going through. So I'll send you guys over that information as well, so you guys are aware of it. It's looking like it'll be probably getting through and go public. It's already written. Senator Steve Malagari out of Northampton or Southampton, Pennsylvania, has written it, and it'll go public in any day now. I'll be getting a text from our lobbyist, and then we'll be heading back to the Capitol again, and we'll be pushing forward that to be voted in June. So we're looking to, hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be able to be rolling out with every alcohol manufacturer, distributor, retailer will be able to carry in Pennsylvania. So it'll be it'll be opening up to a completely free market, whereas right now we have to be everywhere that's not alcohol.
They'll all lose those opportunities to sell. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so anybody that's currently selling, every retailer will be able to buy a hemp beverage permit, which will be a bolt-on to their business license, and then they'll be governed by the Keystone Cannabis Board, which will then do the inspections and the regulatory part to make sure. So also breweries, wineries, and distilleries can buy a permit and become co-packers for places where if they want it, they're out of state in California and they want to have their product made there for efficiency, the brewery can convert into a co-packing facility as well.
Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been pushing that really hard right now, but I'll send you guys over that information and see where it is. It's called iwantmythc.com. So the website's all built and everything like that. It just hasn't gone public yet. So amazingly, that domain was around 7 months ago when I came up with the idea.
Wow.
Love it.
And then all of a sudden, the universe provided, and MTV closed out on New Year's Eve. So I think copyright, I might have an open book now. We'll see. But let's go back to your guys' story a little bit too. I don't often get people that are are friends and everything like that. So you guys, how did you guys all meet? And it was all started at college, you said, or was anything prior to that?
Josh and I bust tables at the same high school restaurant. Our family connected. So yeah, we go back.
Nice. And how about you, Amy? When did they wrangle you into this?
So I came in probably 3 years ago when we said we like formed the company. Lance and I went to college together. We had mutual friends, and I've been in the cannabis space since 2019, and I was in big corporate CPG world. And then I got pulled into the cannabis space, and the startup life was just so fun. I mean, it's grueling, but it taught me so much being on the big corporate side, and then coming across, and we opened like 192 stores in less than a year. We had dispensaries, we had all kinds of stuff. And that all happened in less than a year. It was a rise and then a fall. And then Lance was like, "Hey, I'm back in Ohio. I have some people I'd like to connect you with." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And that's kind of how it all happened. There was a little vetting through between all of us.
The
I guess me. They're like, okay, I'm the only girl in the group.
That was I wasn't going to ask if that was the case, but I'm sure that has its own stories you can tell, I'm sure.
I remember the day Lance and Amy, I first met Amy here at the gazebo out back and at our warehouse here in Nelsonville. And I was unsure. I was judging without, knowing. Man, I'm glad I was wrong, because he ain't even gonna smoke with us.
That's your.
Then we're doing the Canna Olympics, and
Yeah, I think she was in the Canna Olympics. She about won the gold for us. So
there you go. So she proved herself quickly for you.
yeah, nice.
Nice. What channels, like, speaking of just Ohio right now, are you guys in like grocery, independent retail, and then also dispensaries, or what channels are you currently in?
so we're not in any dispensaries. We're in smoke shops, grocery stores, carryouts, restaurants. I think that covers it all. We've got some people that take our drinks to different events and things like that. But those are the major channels.
Are you guys still self-distributing, or you said you have some distributors that are helping you in certain spots?
Small distributing-ish. Joey, you can speak to that.
We have multiple conversations in discussion. Legislative headwinds have not been favorable, Nate, as you but we have been sought out on more than one occasion. So we're confident and continue to knock down doors ourselves and build out markets and look forward. And yeah, we're on the 5-yard line with you. We had some really big fish that were interested early on, but just had some stalls due to legislation that is part of our business. We know we signed up for that. You better have thick skin,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we were all loading cases into our cars and storing them at our houses and stuff. And then we've been, slowly being our own distribution. So like we went from having 0 stores last April in terms of our drinks to having over 300 stores. And some of the smaller distributors that we first met with only had 400 doors. So now, like, obviously all the legislative stuff that's been happening since October, that kind of put a halt in our growth quite a bit, I would feel like, but we're still, doing really well for ourselves considering all the factors. But I have a feeling that everything's going to turn right. And then, everything's going to land in terms of distributors, in terms of the partnerships that actually make sense for us.
Yeah, it's I think it's one of the little things that we talk about, but I don't think people really understand the gravity of like operating in this industry with the uncertainty. And I think there's other times in like alcohol and things like that where, you're waiting around for, 6 packs and 12 packs to be approved and different regulatory things for an extra expansion. But nobody's ever experienced like the fear that is involved in like tomorrow the bank could all of a sudden change their mind and then turn off your bank account and then you have to wait for an investigation, and you're going to be clean, but you got to wait for an investigation.
That's right.
And you got to wait for an audit, or your insurance company says, you know what, I'm not going to claim the business anymore. And I think that's the thing that nobody's really talking about right now is everybody's like, oh, well, you won't be able to run your business. You can still run it. Well, you can still run it, but every single one of these little legislative hurdles that comes through adds an uncertainty that already doesn't need to exist in the startup mentality. You're already scared as shit, like, because you're burning your own money and you're bringing in investors and you're taking people out on a limb. You don't need that other stuff. So that's why one of the reasons I, even though I don't have a brand in this, I'm kind of championing what's going on in Pennsylvania, because I try to tell people about what happened with craft beer a long time ago, like 2008, 2012. Those guys all had funding. They had bank loans, they had insurance. They didn't have to worry about anything. So the scale in which that grew was so exponentially large. This has the potential to be exactly the same revolutionary surge in opportunity and access, as long as that rest of that capital can be accessible to everybody and the relief of the insurance part.
No question. We feel that loud and clear as it relates to, we're bootstrapped. I mean, I think I borrowed my money from my grandma to start like my first hemp operation. And now we're to a place where we see that agility and having to pivot, very much ensconced in the legislative fight in Ohio, and are optimistic, like Amy said. We're on the citizens referendum, which I'm sure you're aware of, on that path. And so I've heard some of your other podcasts, and you make mention of that. And I think the word you used was grit. And there's no question. Sure, you need to have that in any new business, but cannabis has a particular space. It is just a very large portion of, like, you signed up for it, so don't whine about it. Just keep punching. Yeah,
That's exactly it. No, it was an episode 2 days ago I just dropped with Chris Fontes from he's the president and all that stuff, and he's just like, if you're not advocating and you're not for your legislation, that you don't deserve to be in the industry anymore.
Yeah. I listened to that episode. Great episode, by the way. High spirits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think Joey nailed it. Grit and grime. I call this, entrepreneurial exercising, because it's just like, hopefully that's the positive to get out of it, is like the team operating through all these challenges, all these hurdles, and still overcoming and staying on top. Like, it's almost, it's impressive. I'm impressed with our team. But yeah, it's all day hurdle jumping, but we have faith it's going to pay off.
Yes.
What do you think outside of the regulatory aspect? What's kind of who's got like a good lesson that you guys have learned? Where it's like one of those fun moments where you like thought something was going to work, it didn't, and you can kind of humbly share, any challenges you guys might have had and some lessons out of them.
Amy, I'll let you take the lead.
I was looking at Joey. You guys, your sales team is the one that's, I think the one thing, back to like the legislative piece, though, I know I'm not answering your question.
No, you're good. We'll go back to it. Yeah.
Like back in October when we were like, oh shoot, like there's an embargo that's gonna happen. People are gonna take our drinks. Like, we have all this cash tied up. Like, what are we gonna do? And just making friends in the space, we were able to ship all our drinks out of state. Now, we did have to like turn around and ship a lot of them right back. But I mean, that happened in October, and by mid-November we started our online D2C business. I mean, Josh and Matt were shipping flour where we were able to off of our D2C site, but we had built our website to be able to eventually at some point ship D2C for our drinks. And so that pivoted really quick, because we're like, well, we can't sell into Ohio. We're waiting on registration in other states. And so that just kind of evolved really quickly, where it was like, maybe a year from now we'll ship drinks and we'll figure that out. And then in like a month's time, we're like, okay, we're going to ship our first order end of November.
When you guys sat down for the first time, how do you guys, with the DCC experience on packing and shipping and dealing with that customer service aspect of things, was that new for everybody?
I do D2C stuff for my day job. Like, I've built websites, customer service, all the things, but luckily I have friends and partners that I'm like, okay, I don't remember how to do this, or I've never done this. Like, can you teach me how to do this? And, it's really great to have friends and partners that you've picked up along the way during your career journey that are like just true friends and willing to like help out versus like, hey, I'm going to be so much an hour.
Yeah. I asked that because I went through my own part with, I started during COVID when everything collapsed and I had nothing to do. I ran a discount warehouse where I rented a warehouse and then I was buying overstock from Target. And then all of a sudden I got in with like a couple food and beverage brands I'm not going to name, but I became their unofficial drop shipper via Amazon. So like Amazon fulfillment orders would come in and I would just fill it. So all day long I was doing cheese puffs and water and just random things and Chex Mix. And I asked that question because one day I get a call and I put the wrong cheese ball mix in one of the boxes and I shipped it. And I didn't realize my cell phone number was up on the site. And this 79-year-old lady calls me on the phone and starts reaming me out because I gave her like the wrong size cheese balls, which was funny because in the beginning, she's reaming me out but I gave her a 64 ounce and she ordered an 8 ounce and she was reaming me out for my poor business practices of giving away free. She was so angry the entire time and she was like, how could you be so stupid and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she's like, let me talk to your boss. I was like, ma'am, I'm the owner and my cell phone was on here. So no, it's you get those messages from the keyboard warriors sometimes. And while we all love the good feedback, sometimes the negative stuff.
No question.
Walk me through the 5 and 10 milligrams. Obviously, it's a risk mitigation for what's going on with the regulation and stuff. But kind of where it is with you, is that a strategic thing to stay in that milligram aspect? And I have no opinion either way. I'm just curious to ask. Yeah.
Do you want to take it or you want me to, Joey?
I talk all the time. Go ahead.
Okay. So we started out with 25s. And then with the strawberry lemonade, just because of how it's made up, we can't go above 10 milligrams just based on like that dry weight scenario. We want to always stay in the green when it comes to regulatory with our products. So we had 25s in the sodas and the tea, and then the 10 in the strawberry. And then as Joey and Josh and Matt were going out and they were selling, there was a lot of requests for like 50 milligrams. And then there was a request from the bars and restaurants. They're like, we don't want people on their asses. Like, we need to go like 5 milligram. We want like that Bud Light, White Claw, like we need a 5 milligram or a 2.5. So then we just kind of started expanding. We didn't want to expand, like I was saying earlier, like we don't want to expand in terms of flavors and then just have like we're over skewing ourselves. Having different milligrams in each of our drinks allows us to go into different markets and different retail locations and really offer the customer and meet them where they're at in terms of milligrams, because like I'm not gonna buy or drink a 25 every day. Like I would like to go and hang out with my friends and take 5s and 10s and be able to like socially drink that way versus like 125 or a 50 and I'm like mute.
I had a 50 like a couple of weeks ago, and I have a pretty high tolerance. I've been a lifelong user and stuff like that. But it was an interesting feeling for sure because I've been sober 3 years from alcohol, and I drank it like a beer. And I wanted to because I intentionally wanted to know the effect of it because I was always drinking them where I'd split it up over a 2-hour period and do like 25 and 25 over a 50 can. And it was definitely a funny experience where I try to tell people like, when you want to experiment, you know what I mean? Imagine if you were experimenting with beer or wine, you wouldn't start out with like your first year grabbing a 19% triple IPA or whatever, you know what I mean? Or some bourbon barrel aged stout. You would really run your way up through. And I think when people the more we normalize that comparison between their everyday items that they drink, we'll be able to make people understand the dosage. And I think over the next year or two, people will be less apprehensive to the product and we'll get more audience members and more consumers into the market. Because I think the ones that aren't in it yet, I don't think it's because they don't want it. I think it's because they don't understand it yet.
That's like sorry, go Josh.
Well, I think you bring up an excellent point, right? Right now in the cannabis industry, consumers are buying off of percent THC, right? And in alcohol, We don't do this. If you want a 6.2, but you want an IPA and somebody hands you some brown 6 point, like we need to be buying based off of our endocannabinoid system's responses to these products. And, unfortunately, they're priced at THC percentages, but we, and me especially, I'm excited for the future of our company when we can get into these flowers, because I think the packages are essentially full of deceit and lies, terpenes, THC percentages, all these things that doesn't matter. They're all in between you and your own endocannabinoid system. And I can't tell you how you're going to respond to these cannabinoids. All we have is ourselves to go off of. And that's also plays into what Amy was saying with getting the effective dose. We want all of the first time people that aren't exposed to cannabis to have an option.
Mhm.
But if we're being honest here, nothing sells like our 25s and 50s, but those are well-developed consumers that already know they love pot. We're excited for where App Girls is going to bring us. We consider these our children, right? Like they've never used before, and then they try one of our products, and now they know about what they like and how to use it. Like nothing means more than that. I mean, we're appreciative of all of our people, but them first-time people, a lot of them you don't forget. So very excited about people, not looking at a product. When it's a refined product, sure, you're buying off of milligrams THC. But when you get down to the complexities that this plant has to offer, there's all these thousands of combinations that we're excited to be a part of exploring and further. There's that rant. I said I wasn't going to do a rant.
No, but actually, I'm going to send you down another rant, Josh, because actually I realized as you were saying it, that's something that we've not talked about in any prior episodes. Dive a little deeper into what you meant to the audience about your own internal cannabinoid, because that might be for some people a first time of hearing internal cannabinoid. What does that mean?
So what we have, which predates humans by millions of years, is an endocannabinoid system, right? And this is a system of three different things: receptors, cannabinoids, and enzymes. So when you go, for instance, an example of this endocannabinoid system is when you go to exercise and you run and you get that blissful feeling from running. That is molecularly identical to THC. Now, your body's producing those. They're endocannabinoid systems that's produced from your body's own system. Spike of cortisol in the bloodstream sends a response. These things already happen. Now, the example that we all love and adore is phytocannabinoids. These are cannabinoids that are found outside of the body, found on cannabis plants, right? And these things, that's why we have so many therapeutic uses for cannabis, right? Because there's all these different cannabinoids and combinations that can be found on the cannabis plant. So, there's no way for me, if I smoke a gram of Hindu Crescendo Kush and drink 5 milligrams of THC App Girls, I can't properly relay to somebody else exactly how that is. But what can tell them exactly what they like is their own endocannabinoid system, right? And their responses to these products. So having versatility in entry level, the drink is what the drink is. It is THC. However, we don't report this, but there are minor cannabinoids also in that product. But that's a refined cannabis product. I'm speaking more as the plant holistically, not what we necessarily put into a can, but the type of stuff that we're excited to explore as we move into the future.
That's awesome, guys. And outside of obviously regulatory hurdles, outside of those, are there any states that you're looking at or any markets that you're looking at, like moving forward, as far as if somebody doesn't see you on the shelf in their areas or anything that kind of is like looking like a risk mitigated option for the next couple of years for you?
Amy?
Yeah, Amy, talk about North Carolina.
So our whole thesis is going towards the blue ocean and going towards the Appalachian region. So our goal was originally Ohio, based on like where we all live, where we all grew up. And then Pennsylvania, like if we're not talking about regulations, it'd be nice like New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, just that whole down the mountain line. North Carolina is one that we are really eager to get into just because we signed on a professional, I think you say angler. So he's part of the National Professional Fishing League. He's a wild child, and so we're really excited to have him as one of our new brand ambassadors this season.
So coming back in and kind of closing out here, we talked about those different areas that you're going through, and let people know you guys have DTC. You don't have to list out all the different states. They can find that on your website, but let them know kind of where to find you guys, what your social handles are, which platforms you're on for social media, so everybody can learn more about things. And then if you guys want to, if you're on LinkedIn and stuff like that, just mention where they can find you on LinkedIn, because one thing to know is our audience is about 60% of our audience is senior leaders, CEOs, and founders in this industry. And then about 40% seem to be consumers and things like that, or aspiring entrepreneurs as well.
So our website is appgirlscannabis.com. And then we made it really simple for everyone, where everything, all of our handles are App Girls Cannabis.
Perfect. Excellent. And I'll post you guys down in the description, everything like that. So I want to, go ahead, Josh.
Something else I'd like to know. Two things, because I could tell you're trying to wind down. The Cannabis History Museum, Nate. If you're ever in this area, you need to hit me up. I will get you in for free. We'll do the whole tour. It's right down here down the road. It was started by one of the co-founders of GW Pharmaceutical, but he collected all these things for years and years, ancient bottles. We do a home grow workshop there once a month. I send a lot of my students there to do their internships too. It's a phenomenal resource. It's a must stop if you're coming through Athens County. And just a reminder, you might be the first person to ever let the convo go. We were certain you were going to ask, but you did not ask why we call ourselves the Appalachian Girls. So we call ourselves the Appalachian Girls. One, that's where we're from. We wanted to represent the misrepresented, the historically exploited for their natural and human resources regions that we reside in. The girls part is due to the female cannabis plant, right? Where the intoxicating buds happen. But we're okay with people also thinking it's about co-founder Amy Garland, because she's been, but every event we go out at, it's just, we answer that a lot. So we figured some of your listeners might want to know, because they're always like, well, you call yourselves girls, but it's a bunch of dudes on your social media jumping around. Like, what's going on? We're pretty, proud of all our founders and our people. So
two additional items, just in closing too, Nate. I'll see you at Alt Bev Expo. I think we're both speaking. Looking forward to meeting you in person. Josh will likely be there too, so we'll connect in person. And then you can find us on, I know she said the socials, you can find me on LinkedIn. Josh is on LinkedIn as well as Amy. But our primary socials that Amy and Josh just continue to crush it on our Instagram and social media. I think we're up to like 500,000 views a month. So super exciting.
Awesome. I will put this, I'll give you guys this commitment then, because we'll see each other at AltBev. I'll drop this one right before AltBev. That way you guys, when you're working the floor, you can have something intangibly to send people to for your story.
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very
So that's
cool.
that business development brain working right there for you.
There you go.
Well, thanks
Love
for
it.
getting back to us so quick too. This is awesome. So
No, it's one of the reasons I keep this, just so you guys are aware. It's low budget in the sense that it's efficient. So I get a lot of shit from people because they're like, it's not produced. You're never in a studio. You're in a car. You're here. I'm like, I do it on my time and where everybody else is convenient. So if all of a sudden somebody's ready at 2:00 and I'm in the car because I'm on the road that day, I'll pull over to be convenient for their time as much as I can and within my schedule. And I want it to be efficient. And like you guys are aware, you hop in the car and you're driving as a founder. I have no BS. There's no sponsors. You're not going to get sold anything. It's just, you just jump right into the conversation like you're sitting in a bar with us. And that's what I want people to feel like when they're listening to them, watching the show.
No, I really appreciate, especially that Moonflower one that you did. I'm really intrigued by those girls and what they've done and their company. They seem like a company that we would really like. So you gave great insight, great questions. Hearing their story was awesome, man. Thank you.
Perfect, man. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I want to remind everybody that, you know, in this world we live in, it's walk around, look people in the eye. If you're at the coffee shop or you're wherever else and you're filling your coffee, look over at them, ask them how they're doing, and then pause and wait for them to answer and actually give a shit about what they say. Everybody's dealing with a lot in this world, whether you're a founder, you're a worker, you're a garbage man, or you're whatever. Everybody's dealing with shit. And everybody needs to know that they're not alone. And I, you know, as much as you guys, I joke around about being founders and stuff like that and being alone in that world, you know, it is a lonely place for founders and it is a lonely place for everybody. And I think the more we need to put this positivity out there and start telling people stories so people like yourselves can connect with everybody else and realize that not everybody is out here to make $1 million and retire on a beach. People are out here building businesses with core intentions that bring some positivity to the world. And, you know, with Josh, what you're doing with education, you know, you're doing that, you know, what you guys were talking about with your intentions and your doses and the ingredients you choose, everything is intentional in what you do. And those are the brands that are going to be sustainable moving forward. And the people like you that continue to push this positive momentum and understanding that challenges are always going to be there. And they're not a breaking point. They're just a speed bump. You know what I mean? Like, there's no wall that you can't grab a sledgehammer with and chip away at. You might not hit it and knock it down in the first run, but you can chip the fuck out of that wall and you'll break it down eventually. So I want to commend you guys also for hopping on with no questions. This world, while it is a world of positivity and beautiful destruction, it's also a world of people that want to scam people.
Sure.
And I really appreciate you guys coming on and being transparent, because that's the only way we as an industry are successful, is showcasing to the world and educating to the world who we are and why we're doing what we're doing.
Well said. Couldn't have said that better myself. And thank you for doing it. Keep going, because that's evident. It bleeds through in your podcast. I'm going to be a regular listener after this. So appreciate it. 11 years sober myself. So yeah, man.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to sharing a few of these hemp beverages with you guys down in Florida.
Hell
Yeah, send me.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna ship you some, right?
Yeah,
Yep, I'll send you guys my address to ship some too. Yep.
Cool.
Send me what you
Awesome.
would prefer, like what flavors and what dosage, so I'm not guessing like and being like, oh, you want a bunch of 50s and
You're all good. I'll send you the list and a double XL t-shirt too. I want to rock some.
Yeah, I got
Sounds
you.
good. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day. And again, thank you guys so much. And I'll see you in Florida.
Thanks, guys.
You guys.
Thank you.